While I was making my Freddyless video, I got a comment under my run for someone asking if this route works on the new patch. Which it didn't. But that got me thinking. With my knowledge about the new patch and over 670 hours of playtime on it, could I port my Freddyless route from 1.04 to 1.11? And well, it turns out I can, and the route even became a bit simpler doing it. The rules are the same as last time: no entering Freddy after exiting at the start, calling is allowed, and no save file crossover because this isn't New Game Plus. With that said, let's start with the route. To exit Rockstar Row without Freddy, I originally used the curtain clip. But that has been patched a while ago, so it isn't an option for us now. Instead, we'll use the bowling ball clip from item list. This means the route is only possible on PC with the debug menu unlocker, and only if your game does bowling ball clips. Sorry Master Air Scratch and all console players. We only need to do the second clip, not the first one, so we can immediately push the bowling ball through Freddy's door while Freddy's holding his monologue. Then we exit Freddy's room like normal. But before we exit the vent, we'll have to perform another bug called the 11:30 skip, which skips the 11:30 PM trigger at the bottom of the vent, as we'll need it later for the party pass. To do the skip, we'll press uncrouch in the vent, which makes the game uncrouch you in the next possible spot. Luckily for us, Debo left a little bit of collision sticking out of the vent, which we can jump off. So we just have to slowly move out of the vent until we uncrouch, and then jump off the platform over the trigger to skip 11:30 PM. Then we'll get the bowling ball from Freddy's door, through which we pushed it earlier, and move it here. Bowling ball clips are really weird strat, so you should watch my item list video for a better explanation and tutorial. After we through the wall, we'll have to jump down into the utility tunnel. This skips the red door that normally requires Freddy to pass. When you pass the trigger that makes Freddy run to the first aid station as Gregory, the beeping at Freddy's voice lines play and Gregory will stop, but he doesn't start running to the first aid station, and the first aid mission doesn't trigger as well. I guess Steel just checks if the player character is there and not specifically Freddy. I bet someone will take this as 100% proof that Gregory is a robot or something, but I digress. Now we make our way through the utility tunnels like normal, get camera access, and enter the lobby to trigger 12 AM. The lobby and the daycare are no problem, since you're normally not supposed to have Freddy here. The problem arises after we press the button to exit the daycare. The game expects us to get into Freddy, trigger the moon chase, and then enter the recharge station to proceed to the next hour. But we can't use Freddy because this is Freddyless. Not using Freddy is the whole point of the challenge. And we can't just go up the stairs normally, because moon insecurity if you trigger the specific moon chase without Freddy. So to get around this, we'll firstly shake off Chica by going to this corner, wait for a good cycle with both Chica and Roxy are far away, then go up the stairs, hop onto the railing, jump onto this palm tree, then onto this ledge and walk through this gap. Never thought I'd be doing parkour in a survival horror game that was clearly not meant for this. This skips the moon chase trigger, but we have another problem. The small daycare gate here isn't open yet because we need Freddy to open it. But to get around that, we can just pinch jump up these balloons, which unloads the game, run to the atrium, and jump over this fence. Because we never triggered 1 AM, the triggers that send us to Lost and Found at the ends of the next missions aren't there. I found a way to get around this for the price counter, but not the loading docks. But you can still do the loading docks mission later in the run if you want to, you just can't do it now. For now, we'll make our way through El Chips and the Super Arcade as normal, and then finish the price counter office mission. After that, we are trapped in the price counter because, like I said, the triggers are missing. So to get around this, we'll jump into this counter, walk up this invisible ramp, and unload the game. To actually get into Lost and Found, we'll just go into the Super Arcade again, high clip, run all the way around the price counter, and then jump into Lost and Found. There are these two doors on the Lost and Found which you can target with your jump. You should aim for the right edge of the right door to land in the middle of Lost and Found. Once the area loads in, the game skips forward to 2 AM and the timeline is fixed. For now. 2 and 3 AM are no real problem without Freddy, since he's currently chilling in the Roxy Raceway sub lobby because he doesn't really feel like helping us. So we make our way there, run through the backstage hallway, get the backstage pass from the rehearsal room, do the Showtime office mission, do the main Showtime mission, do Vanish storage if you wanna, use the stage elevator to trigger our first moon chase of the run, and then enter the recharge station to reach 3 AM. Now we get the underground map from Mapbot, do the warehouse mission, get the 4th badge, and repair Freddy. Now is where things get interesting. Normally the game wants you to crawl through Freddy's vent, enter Chica's room and get the party pass, which always starts a moon chase, and then enter a recharge station to end the chase and reach 4 AM. But we can't do that because we can't use Freddy, so I found another way around it. If you remember on my old patch route, I collected the party pass and then triggered the 12 AM autosave to perform a moonchase breach and exit the moonchase without Freddy. That's what we'll need the 11:30 PM trigger for. But first we have to enter Chica's room. And to get in there we'll have to enter Freddy's room and use his vent. But his door's locked because we haven't gotten the photo pass at 11:30 PM. And we can't just trigger 11:30 now because we need the trigger for the party pass. So to get in there anyway, we'll have to run all the way around the backstage hallway, making sure not to trigger 11:30 PM on the way there, until we reach this room. This room is right behind Freddy's room, which means if we unload the area, we can just jump in and continue. And luckily for us, Steve really messed up when they made these rooms, so we can just climb on here and jump to unload the game. Then we jump forward and we're in Freddy's room. We should definitely save here now, because the next part can get very difficult. Next we have to crawl through this vent and jump into Chica's room. Now we have to perform the moonchase breach. First we'll collect the party pass to enter the moonchase. Then we run out of Chica's room and quickly hit the 11:30 PM trigger to exit the moonchase. But we're not quite out of danger yet. The real problem is Moon. Moon still hunts outside of the moonchase, and the only way to permanently get rid of him is by saving the game. The problem is that all save stations are offline because of the moonchase. But luckily for us, Security Breach has a weird quirk that lets us save anyway. For some reason, entering the daycare area reactivates save stations in our case. Why? I don't know, maybe because we skipped the daycare moonchase. Maybe it's also just some funky logic in the daycare code that is really important for the game to run properly. All I know is that we have to enter the daycare somehow. And that's not that hard, right? Ah, of course it is. This is a moon barrier. Basically, the game puts up these insta-killing barriers when you press the daycare button to prevent players from exiting the daycare and I guess skipping the Vanny cutscene. It doesn't matter, we need another way. So we have to make our way through El Chips. Be aware that you will never be able to enter Rockstar Row again after leaving it because Moon kicks you out, I guess. Anyway, to get to El Chips, we'll first need to climb over these barriers that were set to their early game state because it's 11:30 PM. Then we run to El Chips, get into the Super Arcade, hide clip, and run to about... Yeah, Moon just goes completely insane if you go out of bounds. You can't really do much about it besides waiting for Moon to spawn before going out of bounds and hoping that he will chill out and not kill you today. Now you just have to jump off and run to the top floor of the daycare. Then we let the daycare load in and unload it like at the start of the run to exit the area. This somewhat prevents Moon from spawning. I don't know why, but it really helps us because saving and reloading the game stops the time from ticking. But if we save too early, we can get soft locked behind what I call the AM barrier. Basically, certain triggers don't work before 12 AM. So if we get stuck before 12 AM, we might not be able to proceed with the game normally. This was not an issue on the old route because I used the 12 AM autosave, which means we are already past the AM barrier, but it is here, so we just gotta deal with it. Since 1 minute in Security Breach is 30 seconds in real time, you have to wait for 15 minutes after the moonchase breach to save. But since Moon is no longer an issue for us, we can just proceed with the game like normal while the time ticks away in the background. You can't just save before 12 AM so you won't get softlocked by accident. Which means you have to play really carefully so you don't get sent back before the party pass. There's also leftover moonchase from 11:50 PM to 12 AM. But it doesn't spawn Moon or kill you, so you'll be fine. Anyway, now we'll have to decide between shattering Monty and shattering Chica. Both are possible in my route, but let's start with Monty. First we'll need to enter Monty Golf. This is really easy since we go through the Monty Golf lobby when we exit the daycare. So we'll just have to take a right turn and use our party pass to enter Monty Golf, get the 5th badge, the fast cam and the Mesa size ticket, and then exit Monty Golf. Now we'll need to get into the daycare theater. For this we do the exact same thing we did for the moonchase breach. This means hopping this barrier, going into your chips, hide clipping in the Super Arcade and jumping down here to enter the daycare. Then we just grab the control key, take the balloons back out and go into our chips again. Because now we'll have to enter Mesa size. To do this, we'll firstly set our security safe and nail chips out of bounds after 12 AM. It is really important that you don't save here before 12 AM. If you die, time will stop ticking and you will get stuck behind the AM barrier, which means no Monty fight for you, because the Monty fight is affected by this barrier. Anyway, then we void warp to the safe and run behind these barriers while the game isn't lowered yet. This might take a few attempts to do because the game sometimes lags for no apparent reason. Once we're through, we'll just have to enter Miller size, solve this stupid puzzle and shatter Monty. Then we grab Monty's claws, go through the vent and make our way to parts and service. There's normally a moon chase here after you complete this minigame, but since the time is still around 12 AM for us, it won't trigger. That's Monty done. If you want to kill Chica instead, we'll first climb over this railing using the trash can and run to Phaser Blast. Here we complete the minigame like normal and get the Phaser Blaster. It is really important that you collect the Phaser Blaster after 12 AM. If you collect it before 12 AM, you won't jump forward to 4:15 AM, and the button that triggers the Chica death cutscene is disabled before 4 AM. Anyway, now we get the badge and the Bonnie Bowl ticket from the security office and go to Bonnie Bowl to get Monty's mystery mix. Once we have collected that, we'll take the elevator into the kitchen, activate the generator, place the Monty mystery mix and press the button to shatter Chica. Then we'll escape the sewers with Chica's beak. But we can't just upgrade Freddy yet, because there's a moon chase after the upgrade. And since we had to skip to 4 AM to actually shatter Chica, it will trigger. But I found another way around it. This is security breach after all. We will have to do basically the same thing we did for the old Freddyless route. This means setting our security safe somewhere in the atrium, going into Roxy Raceway, climbing up this forklift, climbing up these balloons, unloading the game, running into Roxy Raceway, or collecting the head to skip forward to 5:15 AM. This will prevent the moon chase from triggering after the upgrade. You should also collect the dance pass while you're here. Then we just jump into this box, jump over the stair railing and fall into the void to walk back to our security safe. Now we just have to upgrade Freddy and we're done with Chica. Now on to Roxy. If you're coming from the Monty upgrade, you'll have to first get into Roxy Raceway and collect the dance pass and the head to reach 5 AM and set the barriers to the correct positions. You won't have to do this if you're coming from the Chica upgrade, since you already collected the head to bypass the moon chase. Now we go to the Cascade elevator, use our dance pass and beat the Cascade. With the repaired head, we'll head back to Roxy Raceway, place it on the driver board and start the cutscene to shatter Roxy. Then we just have to grab Roxy's eyes, escape the area and upgrade Freddy with the eyes to trigger the last moon chase. This chase doesn't require Freddy, so we'll just have to run to the exit and we're done. That was Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach beaten without Freddy in 1 hour, 25 minutes and 11 seconds, while basically doing everything the game wants you to do normally. Like last time, all endings except the F ending are possible, since you can't trigger the F cutscene as Gregory. It will also put you in Freddy, which would violate our most important rule. I left my runs and my route in the description if you want to try this challenge for yourself. Also a huge thank you goes out to everyone who watched my last video. I never expected it to blow up like that, so I'm really thankful for it. Credit also goes to Astral Spiff, who originally did the Freddyless route on the old patch and inspired me to make my videos. I'm also working on a hard mode for Security Breach, but that'll take a while before it's ready. So I guess I'll see you when I do another challenge.